Zidane Danny, Electro Ninja here, and welcome back to Electro Ninja's Lab. In today's video, I am going to be talking to you guys about a future Miraculous game. But before I do that, I want to talk to you guys really quickly about my voice acting. Now, I have done voice acting in the past. If you look at anything on my channel, you'll see that I've done a lot of voices. But I want to know what you guys want to hear me do voices for. And whatever voices that you suggest, I'm going to put them together into a series or into a video and see how it turns out. If it is done well, then maybe we'll do more like it. Maybe we'll start a new series. But we'll just have to wait and see because honestly that takes a little bit of time and probably won't come out until next year. But definitely look forward to that. If you guys have anyone that you want me to talk about or you want me to do a voice for, then definitely put a new hashtag eNinjaVoices. So hashtag eNinjaVoices down in the comments below, and I will do my best. So definitely do work on that. And anyways, let's get into what exactly I would like to see in a Miraculous video game. Now, we are going to start off by saying, let me start off by saying, there are two Miraculous games, both of which for the phone. The first one is the Miraculous running game, which is basically a temple running game, and you just swipe your finger from left to right to make your characters move in the correct way, and maybe there's a little bit of tapping, but that's about it. It's basically just a running game. And you have all of the Miraculous heroes, and it's kind of cool, but it's honestly kind of lacking in the story development because the fact that honestly all it is it's taking the characters from the previous things and moving with it. Honestly, I wish that there was a little bit more there, but unfortunately there's not. The other one is the Candy Crush ripoff that honestly is basically the same thing as that, but it's different. What I want to see is something completely different. A game where you actually get to play as these characters. Now, obviously, I understand that there is a lot of things that go into this. And the idea of there eventually being a fighter game is completely within the realm of possibility. They've actually joked about it before when Gamer 2.0 came about, and honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if that actually happens eventually. In fact, I will probably be making a video about that within the next few days using, I don't know, maybe Super Smash Bros. As my example. But in this video, I want to talk about what could be a full Miraculous game. Now, the first question that we need to ask is, who is going to be the main protagonist? Now, obviously, we want Marinette, but we honestly would be actually in a good place if we could play as any of the Miraculous heroes. Now, obviously, Marinette and Cat Noir are the first ones that we should be worried about. But we're going to start off by looking at Spider-Man, because this is going to be what we want to use as our examples. Now, obviously, Marinette could very easily just be using the exact same controls as Spider-Man, except that maybe like you have to be a little bit more precise or something weird like that. And it's not webbing shooting out; it's the yo-yo, and you see a little red thing shoot out as you're going off. Believe it or not, every single one of these actually connects somewhere, and if it bends too far around, then it actually damages the thing and you fall away. So yeah. Now, now that would be great. Unfortunately, that is also something that is a lot more tricky to do. While for Spider-Man, he can stick to literally anything. That's what his webbing does. But for Marinette, they have to design it with a whole bunch of extra things incorporated. basically her yo-yo would have to go up to something like this and wrap around it. And the same goes for other characters such as Queen Bee, who has a very similar mechanic, except that she can also go along her spinning top can actually have her go along the road or whatever. And it's basically the same. Those two have very similar mechanics in how they move about. And honestly, they could probably just take a little bit of work from what the people at Insomniac did with Spider-Man, just slightly different to make sure that it works better for them. And obviously, there's a lot of really complicated mechanics that would go into this if they want to be perfect. Now, obviously, they could just be like, oh, here, whoop, it works exactly like Spider-Man. And that would honestly be fine, in my opinion. But for a lot of the others, it's basically this, jumping around on the floor, but with a little bit more finesse, obviously, for the actual jumping. And probably a bit of extra oomph to make it look slightly better. We'll see what actually happens. And obviously, Cat Noir has his stick, which he can spring out. Maybe he can do a double jump that actually extends him higher up into the air. Or perhaps, if he's on the ground, he can hold spacebar and it will extend his stick so that he's up in the air and he can get a good vantage point. Maybe look around a bit. Maybe have something like when Spider-Man is up on a pole, like literally anywhere like that. If I want, I can just pop up here. Whoop. This is exactly what I'm imagining for what could happen with Cat Noir. But there is one other thing that is important here, and that is the fact that these are children who think that who obviously can't always be their superhero forms. For Peter, he just swings around from day to day to just get around the entire place. And obviously, Ladybug and Cat Noir could do the exact same thing to get around. Like, oh, I need to get to school. Quick, transform into Ladybug. Swoop over to the school. Oh, there. Let's pretend this is the school. Oh, I'm here. De-transform where nobody can see me. Walk into the school. Everything's fine. In we go. Basically the options. And obviously, that is an important thing to actually understand, is that if they are going to do something like this, they have to make it so that there is a way to transform. Now, obviously, there's no phone booths, so we're not getting that, but you're going to have to find lots of different hiding points throughout the entire city. Like, oh, behind this place that nobody looks behind. Oh, whoop, I'm behind a tree, de-transform, and you're good. That's basically how they have to do it. Basically, different points where you can transform back. But they also have to do something with the Lucky Charm, the Cataclysm, the Venom, all those things, where basically they have to get to a hiding point or a place where nobody can see them. Maybe we'll have something like what we have in Skyrim, where except that it would probably be up in the corner. And in that corner, it shows if anybody can see you. Then once nobody can see you, you de-transform, and whoop, you're back to normal. Yay! And that would honestly be something that you would have all the time. But it would start blinking once you've used your power, and maybe have a little timer going under it to show you how much longer you have until you de-transform. Definitely a possibility, and honestly, I think that's one of the best possibilities. Now, obviously, there's a lot of stuff to do with the super suits, and honestly, they will probably be doing something a little bit special with those, where instead of it being like this, where you design your super suit, you have to get different things. Like, let's say you have this, and you have to build it up over time, and maybe gather the items. Like, what is it? frickin' first one requires like seaweed and stuff. So you actually have to, while you're underwater, you have to gather those things. And obviously, a lot of those things are important. Now, Marinette knows the recipes, but only she does nowadays. Um, Obviously, Master Fu did know the recipes, but he doesn't anymore because he's kind of gone from the story. So that's something that is obviously going to be an important thing to understand as we're going through this. So I don't know exactly how they're going to do it, but honestly, if they work off of this and take into account some of the things that I've suggested today, it would honestly be a great video game. But anyways, guys, look, I'm curious to know what you guys think of this. Do you think that there will be an actual video game for Miraculous besides the fighter? And did you enjoy this video? If you did, please leave a like. If you guys have any theories that you want to share, definitely leave them down in the comments. And if you want to make sure that they show up in my theory review, make sure to put them in, put the hashtag theory review somewhere in the comment, and I will make sure to use it in my next video. So hopefully that clears things up. If you guys are new, please subscribe and ring that notification bell. And of course, if you guys want to support the channel even more, definitely head down to the description and check out my merch store, which should have Turkey Ninja back. So check that out. But anyways, guys, I've been Electro Ninja, and I will see you guys next time. But on.